Hey there, Miss Caroline. Thank you so much for agreeing to be with me and share your testimony with working with me privately.
Thank you for the opportunity.
No problem. So we're just going to jump right in. Um, I know that you are a member inside of my private Facebook community, Self Love for Empathic Souls. But I just wanted to hear, like, how did you come across me? Like, how did you find me?
To be quite honest, I was on vacation last year and I was scrolling through Facebook and seeing you had something live and just jumped on and started listening. Really, that's kind of how I had heard, I heard you speaking and I don't know, just at the time that you were speaking, I was going through and what you were saying was hitting every marker. So I thought I'd listen.
Nice. And so, out of that experience, what did you have, like, any breakthroughs just from listening to the live, or was there something that was said that made you think, I'm curious, like, is there more to this?
Well, it's funny because this was like a 3-day event and I caught it like on the first day, maybe 5 minutes in. Now
Hmm.
I'm on vacation. So I run downstairs and I grab paper and pen and I run back upstairs to the bedroom and I start taking notes. And then you said, okay, well, I'll see you guys tomorrow. And I thought, oh yeah, I'm getting back on this. So, and my parents, my siblings, my in-law, I mean, my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, I mean, we were all there, my kids, my grandbaby, we were all there. So that meant taking time away, for an hour. So they were like, well, we're going to do this tomorrow. Well, I got to be back at the house by this time because I need to hear this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow. So you had no idea this was happening, and it
none.
almost like a fluke.
A blessing, kind of, I stumbled into it.
Wow.
I had asked God earlier in the day, I just give me something. I need a breakthrough. Show me. And this
Wow.
just happened.
Wow. I love how God shows up too, because there's this saying that when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Yes.
And we never know what we need until, like, it shows up and then it just
Right.
resonates. Is that kind
Right.
of like what you were feeling during that? I think it was when I was doing my free master class on how to prioritize yourself with all of the roles that you have.
That is exactly what it was. Yes. And I'm
Awesome.
telling you that, and I mean, and I didn't hear much. I kind of was scrolling through, heard your voice, stopped, thought I'd listen for a few moments. And then before you know it, I'm looking for something to write on, you know, because I'm thinking I'm not going to remember this. And then, when you said, well, this, and I just want to remind you, this is going to be 3 days. So we'll be back on tomorrow. I was like, oh my God, so then I'm downstairs,
Wow.
and it's funny. I thought it was just a brand new notebook of my sister's that, she wouldn't mind me borrowing because we weren't in Illinois. We were in Florida. And
Yeah,
lo and
yeah.
behold, she was like, well, that's my bill book. I was like, okay, I'll only use enough pages to take notes for a couple of days. So,
Oh,
yeah.
wow, I love it.
Mhm.
So eventually you decided to connect with me and invest in private coaching with me.
I did, yes.
So what made you invest in coaching?
Um, I'm a firm believer in you reap what you sow. So if you don't plant anything, you can't reap anything. And
Hmm.
I was thinking, okay, look, I've gone up till now and I haven't figured it out, or it's not getting any better. Let's just try this and see what happens.
Hmm.
Let me just decide that maybe this is something that I need for me. Now,
Hmm.
with that being said, I was thinking, oh, if it costs money, my budget, da da da, because I've been a
Hmm.
single mother all these years, and so of
Hmm.
course I've always lived on a budget.
Hmm.
But then in a conversation with my son, he said to me, well, if you don't think you're worth it, who will?
Wow.
He said, if it's something you really want to do, I'll pay for it. He said, but why would you expect someone to do something you're not even willing to do for yourself?
Wow.
So I thought, he says, you're always talking about reaping and sowing. He says, so if you don't invest in yourself, you can't expect other people to invest in you. So I
That
thought, well,
that
yep,
just
yep,
Where's the mic? Like,
right.
drop the mic.
Mhm. And then, the funny thing about it is he even said, if a friend of yours came to you and asked you to do it for them, you would pay for somebody else. But so I said, well, I guess you're right. He said, Mom, do this for yourself. Let this be about you.
That's so powerful.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is so powerful. Out
So
of the
I
mouths of babes.
so I prayed about it, and I was like, you know what, Father God, you're gonna have to make the way, because you know how my budget is, and you know
Yeah.
how I feel about spending your money. And
Mhm.
praise the Lord, He
Had you
worked it out.
ever had you ever invested in anything like this before, like a coaching program or coaching services or anything like that?
One time I invested in taking the Dave Ramsey class, The
Mhm.
Financial Future, and
Mhm.
I'm really glad I did. It was funny because a lot of the things that he taught, I already knew, and I had already been living that way. So it was like that confirmation that I needed. But
Mhm.
then what it did was it gave me what I needed to get over that hump, to be more confident
Mhm.
in what I was already within me.
Mm. Mm.
So yes, but I mean, but in all these years, maybe I can only say this is probably like my third or fourth time when, but
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, what made you finally just take that leap and say, I'm going to do this for myself? Like you said that your son had given you some words of encouragement and you had prayed, but was there like some final like feeling or thought that you had where you just it made you say, I'm going to go for this?
I woke up one morning and thought, the only time you can get a change is something has to happen. You got to do something. Change just doesn't happen. You got
Mm-hmm.
to do something. So if I get up and put my feet on the floor and stand up every day, it's going to be the same thing. If I want something different, I got to do something different. And
Mm-hmm.
then it was like, you're always telling your daughter, put in the work to get the results. If you don't
Yeah.
put in the work, you get nothing.
Yeah.
So that's what it was. I woke up one day and I was like, I'm just tired of feeling sick and tired. I
Yeah.
want something different.
Absolutely. So, how was your experience in our time together?
Oh, it was awesome. It was all, and I'm telling you, it literally opened doors that I had been peeking in for years.
Wow.
It actually got me to thinking that, um, when did you lose yourself? When did you stop being important, even to yourself? You know, you're asking people to love you and treat you in a certain way, but you're not even loving and treating yourself in that manner.
Mm.
And I get that whole people treat you the way you behave. If you walk defeated, people will treat you defeated.
Absolutely.
If you walk confidently, people will treat you, like you know what you're doing, like you know what you're saying.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so it was just like, you know what, and it's funny because, it's like you open the door and you're thinking, I wouldn't mind going in there. But then you never go. I wonder
Mm.
what's in there, or I wonder what can happen if. But then if
Mhm.
you never step out, then you'll never know. And I
Mhm.
thought to myself, I deserve better than this, you know.
Mm.
But, again, if I don't treat myself better, how can I expect other people to treat me better?
Absolutely. So, what would you say were some of your biggest breakthroughs in the work that we did together?
Putting myself first,
Mm.
not getting caught up in my titles, in
Mm.
that it's my responsibility because I'm the mother, I'm the grandmother, I'm the daughter, I'm the sister, I'm the friend. You know what? I mean, because if I'm not healthy, I can't help anybody else get healthy. And
Mhm.
who wants a sick person taking care of them?
Mm.
So,
Mm.
and how can I ask you to do something I'm not even doing?
Right.
How can I mean, I gotta walk the talk. I
Mhm.
can't tell somebody to do something that I'm not doing.
Absolutely. I
And
love that.
another one was being honest with myself, being honest with myself that I have the right to say no and to feel okay. I have the right to say yeah and feel okay.
Yeah.
I'm not everybody's. It's funny. One year at a family reunion, a cousin nicknamed me Terry from Soul Food.
Mm.
And I said, and he's like, your money is everybody's money, your time is everybody's time, because that's the way you live your life.
Wow.
And he says, so if you want different, you're gonna have to do different.
Wow.
So I don't want to be Terry. I want to be Caroline.
I know that's right.
I want to,
Oh my
want
gosh,
to be
that's so
Caroline.
powerful. That is so powerful. You mentioned about peeking through doors and like wanting to see, but then pulling back. What do you think? Was it fear? Like, what was the thing holding you back from like really just putting yourself out there to be all of who you are and to prioritize yourself and put boundaries up, all these good things that you just shared?
not putting myself first, because it's always, I need to hold on to this in case somebody else needs it. I need to be available in case someone else, just not putting myself first, forgetting who I was. You know, the Bible tells us that, you know, we got to love others as we love ourselves. And here I was giving everything to everybody else and wasn't giving anything to myself.
Wow.
You know, and I mean, I got to the point where I was mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, I was just tired. I was exhausted.
Yeah.
You know, people would say stuff to me, and I mean, by the end of the night, I would literally just be spent.
Wow.
And I'm thinking to myself, but you are not even pouring into yourself, and you're giving everything to everyone else.
Yeah. So how are things for you now?
Oh, so much different. So much different. Oh my goodness, it is so much different. I mean, there is such a joy and a peace and now I can say, and I mean, and I can even say things without having to raise my voice, without having to change the tone of my voice. I can just say, you know, that's just not going to work, or no, I can't do that. Or yes, I can do that. But if I do it, I have to do it this way. This is not about, and I don't even know as much as it was pleasing, but I was raised to believe that, you know, I got to look out after my brothers and sisters. I got to look out after my kids. I got to look out after my family. So now, you know, I've spent my entire life just looking out for everybody else. And now when I make a decision, okay, how is this going to affect me? Because if it's going to be negatively, I can't do it.
Absolutely.
So
I love that. So you have literally shifted from putting yourself last, no boundaries, exhausted, overwhelmed, and tired, to now you are joyful, peaceful, boundaries, putting Caroline first. Like you just did a whole complete 180 shift.
Right. It was almost like talking this out gave me permission to put myself first. Yeah. And when I could have been putting myself first all along, because I didn't need permission.
Yes.
So
I want to speak about the mindset shift that you have, because you said something during one of our last sessions that really, really blew my mind. I was so happy to hear you had this mindset shift. And I don't know if you remember or not, but the story where you shared where you realized you can meet someone anywhere. You remember that?
Anywhere.
You want to share a little bit about like what your mindset was before that, and then like what happened after?
Well, before, you know, I was thinking, you know, I want a guy that meets a certain standard, and you just can't find those type of people anywhere. You just can't, you know, you can only meet those kind of people at church, or you can only, you know, if somebody introduces you, those, but then, you know, I was somewhere and a guy just started talking to me, and I'm thinking, well, who would have thought that I could meet somebody at the car dealership?
I love it.
Yeah. And who would, or over a phone conversation.
Yeah.
You know, who would have thought, you know, and that's when it dawned on me that, you know, not everybody that meets those standards that I'm looking for go to church, and not just my church, any church, you know, or they could be in the grocery store. They could be picking a grandchild up from school, like I'm picking my grandchild up. It did not have to be a specific. But I thought, but you know, before the mindset was, this was your box. This is what you lived in. And now it's like the whole world is the box.
Oh, I'm just raising my hands like, yes.
You know?
Oh my gosh, I love that.
and I even found out, I mean, even in talking to a gentleman that a gentleman said to me, I've been chasing you for 5 years. And I said, you haven't been chasing me for 5 years. And he said, I have. And I said, well, I'm gonna just be honest. I said, there's a lot about you that I have a problem with, which is the reason why, you know, I haven't wanted to have a conversation with you. And he immediately said, well, first, let me apologize for saying that you couldn't have a life because you spent too much time trying to micromanage your daughter's life. He said, I recognize your daughter needs your assistant, and it's your daughter, and it's your grandbaby. You're supposed to be there when they stand in need. He said, because that's what I would do for my children. And he said, and I said, well, and I don't like know-it-alls. And I said, because the last time I checked, men didn't give birth. So when you start telling me what it's like to be pregnant and give birth, then I got a problem. And he said, well, I didn't mean it like that. He said, I'm not an argumentative person, and I don't, and he says, but I will say, I'm entitled to my opinion about something, just like you're entitled to your opinion. And he said, I'm happy to agree to disagree.
Mhm, mhm,
And I said, and then you always speak negatively about people. I said, I don't like that, because we've got to be able to say something good about people, because
mhm.
everybody's dirty laundry don't need to be aired. And he said, I agree, but I just don't understand people. And I said, and maybe you'll never understand why people behave that way. But the thing
Mhm,
is just like we're speaking negatively about somebody else,
mhm,
people are speaking negatively about us.
mhm, mhm.
And I said, so that's why you got to be cautious as to what you say, because when you put other people down,
Mhm.
before you know it, people are putting you down. And he's
Were
like,
you ever like putting your opinions and speaking up for yourself like that beforehand?
a lot of times I'd be like, yeah, I can't be bothered with that. I don't like people that just do that.
But you wouldn't
Because
really
those,
vocalize the why.
right. And I would never be specific. I wouldn't
Mhm.
say to you, look, I don't like it when you do that. I would just be like, yeah,
Mm,
people shouldn't do that, kind of general.
yeah. So your
But
communication, it sounds like,
right.
elevated.
So this time it was like, look, man, you don't have to, you don't have to impress me by putting somebody else down. I'm not
Mm,
judging you by somebody else's behavior, by somebody else's friendship
mm,
or anything. You
mhm.
know what? I love my children. And I mean, there's probably millions of people that say how wonderful one is and how, troublesome the other. But hey, it's a matter of opinion,
Mhm,
and it
mhm.
doesn't define who I am,
Yeah.
nor does someone's opinion validate who I am or what I have to
Mm.
offer.
You've been
So,
doing the work.
yeah, putting in the work to get the results. Yeah,
Oh my gosh, I love it.
being
I
first
love
in my
it.
own life.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So
What would you say to someone who is on the fence about investing in themselves with coaching?
I would say, you know what, don't have any expectations when you won't even do for yourself. So if you
Mhm,
don't put yourself first, don't expect anyone else to.
mhm,
If you won't invest in yourself, don't ask anyone else to.
mhm.
Because if you don't think you're worthy, no one else will think you're worthy.
Absolutely,
Yeah, no one's
absolutely.
gonna spend their a dime on you if you won't spend a dime on yourself.
So true.
And I mean, and what kind of sense would that make? For
Absolutely,
somebody to invest in you or do something for you you're not willing to do for yourself.
absolutely.
So
So would you recommend my coaching services to anybody?
I would, and more so because not only am I you're going to get good sound advice,
Mhm,
but you're going to get a personality that says, look, I'm not perfect.
mhm.
So
Yeah,
I've been through. So I'm only telling you because I know what it's like to go through.
yeah,
It's hard talking to somebody who's never been through anything,
yeah,
and they're trying to tell you or persuade you that things are going to get better. If you've not been through anything, it's hard
yeah.
to convince somebody else that's going through that everything's going to be okay.
Absolutely,
And you're so
absolutely.
willing to share your own uh, life journey
Mhm.
that allows people to be open and honest
Yeah,
and willing to share.
yeah.
And I mean, because in our time together, I mean, I shared some things with you I've not shared with anybody else. But it
Wow.
wasn't that it needed to be shared. I just needed an avenue for it to be said,
Yes,
so
yeah,
that it could be worked through, so that
yes,
I can move on.
yes.
So it's a speed bump and not a hurdle.
Oh, I love that. That's a good one. A speed bump and not a hurdle.
Yes, because we're gonna have speed bumps and we're gonna have hurdles. And I'm telling you, if I can break a hurdle down to a speed bump, then that's why I want to do it.
I love
Because
it.
I want to put in the work to get the results, but I don't want to be struggling through everything.
Yes, yes.
So,
Do you feel like you gained some tools during our time together that you could continue to use?
yes, I definitely gained um, the real definition of the word no. and not no meaning not right now, not
Yeah.
sometime, but no, no, I can't do it. Yeah, and being okay with saying no.
Yeah, I always tell people I am the queen of boundaries. If you
Hmm.
need some help with your boundaries, I got you.
Right, right, right. And this is the thing. There's nothing wrong with saying no and meaning no, because I mean, and if people, I mean, we're human, and people, if they can take an inch, if they get an inch, they'll take a mile.
Right.
And sometimes if you don't tell people no and stand by your no, they'll just keep taking advantage and taking
Yeah.
advantage.
Yeah.
And
That is
so,
so
but when
true.
people recognize, no, she said no, and that's what she meant, So, and it's not no always. It's just that,
Yeah.
at this time, it's no.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Well, I am so grateful that I got to share a part of your journey with you and just to watch you evolve and transform and experience so many breakthroughs. I just felt honored to serve you and coach you and work with you. And it was a blessing for me too, because I was like, when I get to see the light bulb moments and the breakthroughs and you sharing like, I just had this shift and I realized that I can meet someone anywhere. Like it brings me
right.
so much joy to see that it's working for you. So I'm just grateful that you
Yeah.
trusted to work with me and I got to witness your growth.
Well, I'm just so thankful just for the opportunity to have shared the time with you and to be able to jump on when you go live. I mean, because I've learned so much, about the fact that the world is so much bigger than my little. And one of the things that I thought was very awesome is because we're very quick to say, I'm a mom, I'm a daughter, I'm this. You reminded me that I am far more than just my title or, and there is more to me than just that, just being a mom or a grandmother or a coworker or a friend. There is so much more to what makes me who I am. And those are just very small parts of the puzzle. Which, of course, when you look at it that way and you start putting all those pieces together, I mean, it's like a constant sunrise.
Yeah.
Something new every day.
Yeah.
Which, of course, is what we want. We want to find the joy, the peace, because I was already reading my Bible every day. I was already journaling and I noticed that even in my journaling, it doesn't seem so heavy. It
Oh, I
seems
love
more,
that.
of a joy instead of I just got to get this because I got to get it off my mind and off my back. This is more like free writing. Like, hey, I am living my best life.
I love it. Oh, Caroline, I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for sharing what your journey was like with me. And I'm hoping that we can hear more from you in the future so that you could get that book that you talked about writing.
Yes. Yes. That is my goal. That is my goal.
Oh, man. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us and spending time with us and letting me share you with others so that they could hear what it was like to work with me.
Yes, thank you for all that you do, because I'm sure that I am not the only woman in this world that is appreciative of who God made you to be.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.